Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakodash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who this world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Heavenly Father's only begotten Son, who this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And Rakakodash is the true name of the Holy Spirit. Rakakodash meaning Spirit, holy in Paleo Hebrew. And Bahashem is a phrase in the Paleo Hebrew language meaning in the name, and of course the Paleo Hebrew language. And as usual, I want to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders, especially of Great Millstone, who rule and teach the 100% truth well, and shalom unto the hopeful elect. And as usual, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are the one and only true names that we are to be calling on in these perilous times in order to be eligible to receive salvation. Okay? And today, pretty much want to go into, I shoots a woman. All right, but mainly the consequences. Okay, because recently, all right, you had an ICE agent fatally shoot an Edomite woman that was attempting to flee in her car. All right, and with stuff like ICE, people like ICE going around, deporting people, stuff like this was eventually bound to happen, man. All right, stuff, it would, it was only a matter of time before you're gonna have a violent event, man. All right, and this is just one of the first of many that are to come, man. All right, but I'll immediately go into the precepts. Isaiah 19:2. All right, then this is mainly more about the consequences. Okay, and the Egyptians, and this is talking about spiritual Sodom and Egypt, aka America, Babylon the Great. All right, because again, you have the people are divided on this. You have a lot of people mostly on the MAGA side. All right, saying, oh, she tried to run over the ICE agent and this and that, and then you got people, and then on the other side, you got people saying that she tried to flee for her life. All right, she thought she was in danger. All right, so you got two sides that are divided against each other, man. All right, when you got people that are saying, F around and find out this and that, man. All right, so again, this country is very divided, man. Isaiah 19:2. And again, this event itself is going to cause civil unrest, man. All right, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. And this is talking about spiritual Sodom and Egypt, aka America, if I haven't said that before, Salakia. And everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And this is prophesying of civil war. All right, so there is eventually going to be a civil war. All right, and this is just one of the big steps to that, man. All right, because now you already have protests, uproars of the people about this, man. Okay, because of this event, man. All right, you got people tired of Trump being that cruel Lord, man. All right, deporting people to Lord knows where. All right, this and that, man. You got people that are, eventually going to rise up against Trump. All right, and you're also going to have people that are going to be, for Trump, man. All right, and when those two sides clash, man, that's civil war. All right, because it's only a matter of time before the boiling pot reaches its boiling point. I mean, it's exploding point. All right, and explodes, man. All right, it's only a matter of time before civil war explodes, man. And let's get Mark 3:24, okay? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. See? All right, Esau's kingdom is divided against itself, man. All right, against itself. All right, and more specifically, Babylon the Great, America is very much divided against itself. All right, you got the so-called left wing and the so-called right wing, which are just the same, two wings of the same bird, man. Okay, but they're against each other very heavily, man. All right, and you also, you also got the governor, I believe. Right, real quick, just got to do a fact. Here we go. Minneapolis, all right. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey rips ICE after officer shot and killed woman. Get the fuck out. All right, so you got the mayor being against, ICE and really, therefore against Trump, man. All right. So again, these people are divided against each other. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey had a strongly worded message for federal immigration officials after an ICE officer shot and killed a 37-year-old woman on Wednesday. Get the fuck out of Minneapolis, all right? At news conference after the shooting, Frey said, "We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in the city is to create some kind of safety, and you're doing the exact opposite, all right?" So again, these people are divided against themselves, man. You got massively divided interest in Babylon the Great America, okay? Yeah, they don't want them there, man. All right, but eventually, stuff like this is going to culminate into chaos and eventually martial law, man. Where Trump is going to have these troops flood your city, your state, whether you like it or not, man. Whether the mayor has a say in it or not. Okay, Mark 3:24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Okay, and again, this is a pure example of this kingdom being divided against itself, man. All right, and also on the online, man, you see people with massively differing opinions. All right, or beliefs. Saying, oh, she fucked around and found out. This and that, supporting the ICE agent, and wanting versus wanting the ICE agent to get recompensed. All right, this country itself is divided, man. All right, excuse me. And a country divided against itself cannot stand. All right, so let's keep on reading. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And we see America, Babylon the Great is very much falling. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but hath an end. All right, in the NLT, a kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. Similarly, a family splintered by feuding will fall apart. And if Satan is divided and fights against himself, how can he stand? He will never survive. All right, so again, this kingdom is divided against itself, and it's not going to stand. All right, and these divisions will eventually culminate into Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, man. All right, okay, and of course, you're also going to have disasters, man. Evils and only evils, man, like plagues, plagues, famines, sicknesses as well. All right, so again, this is Jacob's trouble, which is the time we are pretty much in the beginning stages of, the time that has never been nor ever shall be. Hold up, let me get Matthew chapter 24 and 22. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time known, nor ever shall be. All right, and let's go into that word tribulation. Okay, pressing together, pressure, metaphor, oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits. All right, straits meaning pretty much a position of difficulty. Let's get Google's definition: a cause of great trouble or suffering. All right, and we see that this place is pretty much already in the beginning stages, man. All right, but we see that this place is rapidly approaching that stage. Okay, all right, now let's get and yeah, I got a few videos too. All right, I'll get them later. Now I got 2 Esdras 9. Okay, because again, you obviously have protests, a lot of protesters, man. All right, about this ICE thing. Okay, which 2 Esdras 9. He answered me then, and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, so what are some of these signs? But first off, measuring the time is via the prophecies. Okay, the prophecies are pretty much our clock. They are, pretty much your checkpoint. All right, actually that's not the best word, but they're how we tell the time, man. They're how we tell where we are in prophecy, all right, in the timeline. Okay, there's only a few prophecies left before Yahushua returns and delivers the elect. All right, but here are some of the signs. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, and again, lots of earthquakes, okay, have happened, and uproars of the people in the world. Okay, first you got Iran. Yeah, you got lots of uproars in Iran. Okay, and they also have Trump threatening Iran over whether or not over if they kill some of these protesters. Okay, all right, but also now you have uproars here in America, man. Which there's been a lot of uproars on and off as well, but now you got a big one. Okay, because of this situation, man. All right, let's see, uproars of the people. All right, uproar, a loud and impassioned noise or disturbance, a public expression of protest or outrage. Okay, and we see that happening right now. Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Okay, so the elect are going to escape. All right, so like yeah, these perils that are coming, man. Okay, you know, the elect are going to escape. All right, but also, you know, again, you know, Esau is getting ready to come down with that great wrath. So at the same time, Esau is going to be hunting, you know, the elect, man, or well, the Israelites, but mainly the elect, man. Okay, the you know, the 2/3. That's really just killing two birds with one stone. What Esau really wants is the elect. All right, you know, but again, uproars of the people. We see that. Okay, now let's get to Esdras 14 and 15. Okay, you know, because again, you know, with these things, man, more evils are getting ready to come. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So even greater evils are getting ready to come, man. Okay. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Okay, so evils are increasing, man. Alright, you got people thinking themselves to be in good case, yet the evils are still increasing, man. Alright, you got these evils are increasing all over the world, man. Alright, and of course they're also increasing in America, Babylon the Great. Okay, you know, and events like this are only going to lead to more evil, as people are, you know, evil meaning bad time, as people, these evils meaning bad time. Okay, you know, as people are Salakia, as people get unrest on Salakia. No, hold up, I gotta, as people, you know, as civil unrest rises, man. Okay, because that's going to create a dangerous environment. All right, you know, that's going to create a dangerous environment. All right, you know, but in fact, let's take a break. All right, and let's get some of these videos. Okay, so all right, and this is by the brother Shamar Amath. Okay, you know, Israelite foreigner, otherwise known as Shamar Amath 144,000. Okay, I think we're to see this. You know, he posts a lot of these shorts, all right, about these recent news and prophecy, all right, but this one is titled Agents of Chaos, ICE will go door to ramp up deportations. Okay, hashtag Yahweh, hashtag Yahweh Shai, hashtag prophecy. Okay, you know, so again, let's just play this. Okay, as we get more and I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door, and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country, and if you want to come back, apply through the proper channel. Door to door to make sure that you're not an illegal citizen. What the fuck did I just listen to? Did I just hear the vice president of this country say that they're going to mobilize ICE to go door to door, and this is coming after ICE just fucking murdered a woman, a U.S. citizen? Seriously? Y'all, what the fuck is actually going on? We said, and I have to keep on harping on this, because everybody that supported Kamala Harris, and we're trying to get everybody to recognize how dire the situation was if Donald Trump got back into office with the rhetoric that he was using. We were told we were crazy, we were fear-mongering, none of this stuff was ever going to happen. We even saw that with the World War III shit, saying that Donald Trump was not a peace president, and they said that we were crazy and fear-mongering about that, and now we just watched Donald Trump bomb a country and kidnap their leader. But specifically with what he is doing here with these mass deportations, we said the rhetoric that he was using was extremely dangerous, because there's no way that you're going to be able to do the things that he is saying that he wants to do without just being full blanketed racist ass agents of chaos. And Donald Trump has no problem with that. That is what he wants ICE to be. But they're now killing white people. That's what's so fucking crazy about that. If they're killing the white women, nobody is fucking safe. So if they're about to start sending motherfuckers door to door, this shit is about to get really motherfucking crazy. All right, you know, you just heard that. Okay, and also I'm gonna get this next video as well. All right, and this is Omar Agami. All right, you know, sometimes he's pretty fast with the news. All right, but ICE has immunity. All right, but you know, first we'll, you know, watch the video to get the full context of it. All right, and then I'm gonna Google search. All right, and then I believe we'll move on to the precepts, man. Okay. All right, so now let's play it. All right.
Hey, say, what's new with you? So our vice president said something a little bit crazy, because he said...
Actually, I'm going to slow it down a little. Fair use, fair use.
The ICE agent who shot Renee Good yesterday has absolute immunity.
Federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action, that's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job.
Absolute immunity? But what does that mean? It means that Minnesota can't charge him and no one can charge him for what he did. Is that real? ICE agents have immunity? So even though JD Vance said that, it's not really true, because lawyers said that ICE agents do not have absolute immunity. So why did your vice president say that then? No idea, but he was talking about the horrible incident that happened yesterday in Minneapolis, and he was defending the ICE agent.
Alright, so let me get this Google search. Alright, these ICE agents, they may not have absolute immunity right now, but guess what? Trump wants to give police immunity. And look, yes, President Donald Trump has repeatedly stated his desire to grant police officers immunity from prosecution as part of his law and order platform. All right, so this is not just something out of the blue, man. Trump has been planning, giving these police officers, all right, which obviously would include ICE, immunity. All right. Key details of Trump's stance. Campaign promise. Throughout his campaign, Trump promised to give law enforcement officers their power back and immunity from prosecution. All right, and you know how that's going to turn out for Jake. As president on April 28, 2025, he signed an executive order titled Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement that aims to expand legal protections and provide legal resources and indemnification, federal government payment of legal expenses and damages for officers accused of wrongdoing while on duty. All right, and Trump's not even calling that ICE officer wrong, man. He's defending him. All right, so that shows you that Trump is that cruel lord that supports that stuff, man. All right, that's fine with that. Okay, he is fine with that. All right, he doesn't care about you average Edomites, man. All right, let alone you Israelites, okay? Let alone you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, man. All right, so you better repent. You better turn to the Lord, man. All right, because Trump don't care about you. Babylon don't care about you. It don't matter how many. It doesn't matter how many times you try to trim your ways to seek love. You're never getting the whore's love, man. All right, the whore's just gonna step on you and crush you. All right, but let's keep on reading. Indemnification versus immunity. Legal experts know a difference between his rhetoric of immunity from prosecution and the existing practice of indemnification, where the government, not the officer, typically pays for civil lawsuit damages. The local prosecution, the ability to prosecute officers for criminal acts like murder, currently rests with local prosecutors. Trump proposal is seen by critics as an attempt to influence or control these local decisions. Criticism, advocates, and legal experts argue that such a move would undermine accountability, increase the danger for black and brown communities. Ooh, Jake? Okay. Increase the danger for black and brown communities, because you got a lot of these Edomites, man, that don't hate you, Jake, that want you dead. All right. And of course you also got some of these impersonators as well. ICE impersonators, man. All right. So what if someone, this is kind of unrelated, but what if someone fears for their life? All right. But what if news comes out about an ICE impersonator kidnapping someone, all right, and gets out? Guess what? Now everybody's going to be afraid. Now they're going to be on guard, all right. And usually, as an American, that's usually going to mean that their Second Amendment is going to be with them, man. All right. So what happens when they start shooting at? What happens when maybe an actual ICE agent, starts, coming at them, man? All right. What? Do you think they're just going to stand there? All right. You see, so it's all a domino effect, man. All right, all right, it's only this these events, man, are only going to increase and increase. And again, as I've said before, civil war. It's going to lead to civil war. All right, all this civil unrest will lead to civil war. Okay, But anyways, criticism. All right, advocates and legal experts argue that such a move would undermine accountability. All right, increase the danger for black and brown communities, who are disproportionately affected by police violence, okay, and could embolden officers to commit more violence without fear of consequences. All right. So again, you got this Nero 47. We believe Trump to be Nero in the reincarnation, wanting to give these police officers immunity. All right. So now let's get Ezekiel 21 and 8. Okay. All right. Let's start. Let's get again the precepts. Again, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, say, a sword. A sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son, as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. Okay, and that sword, Esau Edom, man. All right, well, Esau Edom is really the Lord's sword. Okay, you have the Lord putting the spirit on these Edomites to get ready to come down with that great wrath on you Israelites, man. Okay, verse 12, crying, howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, Israelites, it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Oh, just said it right there. Tears by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh. Okay, so that sword is being sharpened, man. It's being sharpened for the Israelites, man. All right. So it's being sharpened for the Israelites, okay, to be given into the hand of the slayer, man, Esau Edom, man. All right, Esau Edom is the expert, man, of the sword. Okay, now let's get Psalms 17 and 13. Okay, arise, O Lord Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay, so again, the elect are going. The Lord is going to deliver the elect from the wicked which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's known as the wicked of the earth, man. All right, which is the Lord's sword. All right, the Lord's whooping stick, man. Because the Lord used Esau Edom, the so-called white man, to whoop the children of Israel, man, as punishment for our disobedience, man. All right, that's why we're even here in the first place, because of our disobedience. Because of our disobedience, the Lord had us under the curses, which also, included being brought back to Egypt via ships. Spiritual, I mean, not brought back, but brought to Egypt. Spiritual Sodom in Egypt via ships. Okay, the transatlantic slave trade. All right, and then and then going through that slavery, man. Okay, because we went off. So I lost my train of thought. All right, but again, the wicked is the Lord's whooping stick, man, and the Lord is about to use that whooping stick again on you 2/3. Okay, from men, verse 14, from men which are thy hand, O Lord Yahweh, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Who is that? That's Esau Edom. All right, who has their portion in this world? All right, who fills their belly, man? Not Jake. Come on, man. Jake's poor. All right, Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's the one with generational wealth. He is the one who's gotten rich off the blood, sweat, and tears of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay. All right. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. All right. The main point is that the wicked is the Lord's whooping stick, man, and he's about to unleash the wicked, all right, like dogs on you Israelites, man. Okay. And you're not going to be able to run to Egypt for help. You're not going to be able to sue, especially, when that martial law comes in, man. You're not going to be able to say, I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer. And you're not going to sue. You're not just going to sue the military, man. All right. They're breaking my rights. All right. My rights are being broken. All right. Nah. All right. And Jake, you don't even have rights here, man. We're still slaves. We are yet to stay in our captivity. Okay. All right. And during that day, you are going to know that, we are still considered by Esau Edom as 3/5 as a man. All right. But now let's get Revelation 12 and 12. Okay. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, You know, so the devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. The devil being Esau Edom. Devil, Diablos, prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely, a calumniator. Let's see. A person who makes false and malicious statements to damage someone's reputation. Okay? Esau is known as the accuser of our brethren. Alright? Metaphor applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. Alright? And Esau is. So, like, I'm trying to find it. Esau is the man who's coming. Salakia, I gotta search it up. Alright, here we go. Salakia. Alright, Esau is the slanderer. Esau is the accuser of our brethren, and the man who's coming is after the working of Satan, man. Alright, so Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is getting ready to come down with great wrath, man. Alright, and you 2/3, you are going to be trodden underfoot, man. You are going to be bulldozed, because Esau's blessing is literally the sword. That's how he lives. Your blicky is not going to do squat when Esau brings out those robots and, you know, his militia, you know, his military. All right, and that's why we need the Lord, man. Okay, that's why we need the Lord, man. Because if ISIS can do this to an Edomite woman, all right, an Edomite woman, okay, and get away with it, imagine how much more it's going to be when they are coming down, you know, hard. All right, and you are Israelite, man. You're dark skinned. All right, you know, you're dark skinned, man. All right. No, imagine, man. All right, they're not gonna care, man. They're not going to have mercy, man. All right, if they do that to an Edomite, imagine what they're gonna do to you, Jake, man. Okay, imagine. You know, they're not gonna have mercy. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right, spirit of his mouth via the prophets, man. All right, okay, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, you know, those lying wonders being you know, with all power and signs, lying wonders. All right, that technology, man. Okay, that technology. Oh yeah, no, you know, through all this chaos, man, Esau is of course going to do the classic order ABKO, in which he's going to bring out that mark of the beast and make it mandatory, man, in an attempt to reestablish order. All right. You know, but again, the Lord's going to protect his elect from that too. Daniel chapter 12:1. Then at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for, and this is the title of the time of the end. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. All right. Once again, this is mentioning the great tribulation, Matthew chapter 24:22. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. Oops, wrong one. Verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. All right, that's Jacob's trouble. But continuing on, there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. All right, and it's called Jacob's trouble for a reason. All right, you know, because it's really the target is Jake. Okay. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. All right, because after Jacob's trouble, that's when the deliverance happens, man. Okay, but we got to go through that in the first place. Now let's get Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. NLT, in all history, there has never been such a time of terror. All right. It will be a time of trouble for my people Israel, yet in the end they will be saved. Okay. The elect will be saved, of course, you know, because the 2/3 are going to die. All right. You know, but yeah, with this, all right, with Esau coming down with great wrath, Michael is, you know, this time of Jacob's trouble in general is going to be deadly, to where Michael, Michael's going to stand up for the elect of the Israelites. Okay. You know, and the Lord is also going to raise up a standard. Isaiah 59:19. Okay. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Okay. You know, so again, you know, that standard is spiritual power, man. The Lord is going to bestow upon his elect spiritual power. All right. And we see that, you know, Esau's getting more bold, man. He's starting to show his horns. Okay. You know, so again, when they fully come down with that great wrath, we're going to need that spiritual power. Because if they do this to to their own, to an Edomite man. All right, and if you got all these Edomites justifying it, imagine how much more they're going to be convinced to start killing you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, man. All right, imagine. Okay, so that's why, we are going to need the Lord, man. We're going to need that standard lifted. We are going to need the Lord to protect us, to deliver us from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay, and I'm gonna close out with Isaiah 41:10. All right, and Salaki, I've kind of been all over the place, but Lord willing, this has been edifying so far. All right, Isaiah 49:10. Fear thou not. Oh, Salakia. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Okay, there we go. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee. Yeah, I will help thee. Yeah, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Behold. All right, and I'll read this in NLT. See, all your angry enemies lie there. All right, and Esau is our worst enemy, confused and humiliated. Okay, anyone who opposes you will die and come to nothing. Okay, you will look in vain for those who try to conquer you. Those who attack you will come to nothing. All right, because at the end of the day, Esau is going to come down with great wrath, but the Lord is going to just destroy him, man. He's going to destroy Babylon the Great, America, at the end of Jacob's trouble. And the elect are going to be beamed up right before that, but the ones left behind, yeah, they're gonna die. Okay, all right, and the Lord is going to destroy Esau's kingdom and put him into slavery along with the rest of the nations. Okay, so I'll switch back to the KJV. For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Okay. Actually, wait. I'll read verse 12 in NLT as well. Thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them, even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, as a thing of naught. Okay. Verse 13. For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Okay. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, and the Holy One of Israel. Okay, so the Lord is going to help the Israelites, man. When Esau, declares war, all right, insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, man. All right, when Esau declares war on the Israelites, all right, the Lord is going to protect them. Okay, and one of the ways He's going to protect them is via spiritual power, aka superpowers. Okay, all right. Verse 15, behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Okay, all right. So let's read it in an NLT. You will be a new threshing instrument with many sharp teeth. You will tear your enemies apart, making chaff of mountains. You will toss them into the air, and the wind will blow them all away. A whirlwind will scatter them. Then you will rejoice in the Lord Yahweh. You will glory in the Holy One of Israel. At the end of the day, the Lord is going to protect the elect. But one thing I should have got is the fact that there's also going to be persecution. All right. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right, because persecution is getting ready to come, man. All right, again, you heard ICE is going door to door. All right, that we're going to need protection, man. All right, that's why it's optimal. It's pretty much it's necessary to watch and pray. All right, and of course, I kind of was all over the place with this lesson. Lord willing, you kept up. All right, but overall, man, the consequences are going to lead us closer to prophecy, closer to the downfall of this place, which is Yapa. Okay, Yapa meaning beautiful. Okay, because again, it's a beautiful thing for us, the Israelites, to see the downfall of our enemy, Esau, Edom. All right, but at the same time, this shows that Esau, Edom, he's getting ready to be he's getting ready to go back to his original state, to his full-on white supremacist, all right, Israelite hating with all his heart state. Okay, and again, that he's ready to come down with that great wrath, man. And a lot of Israelites are simply going to die, but the elect are going to be protected, man. All right, but these 2/3, man, a lot of them are going to die the same way this woman died, man. Okay, but with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. Yeah, it was all over the place. So lucky for that. I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shalom wa abad babal. Shalom.